Today on Mormon Times, adding new life to your family history.
Researching my ancestry gives me more of my own story, helps me understand me a little bit more.
Ideas and projects for documenting and discovering who you are.
It's overwhelming to me that people can give that much.
Moving from a life of service to allowing others to serve. How a Ward family has rallied around a brother in need. And Mormons in Malaysia. We talk with a missionary couple about the joys and challenges of being a member in this part of the world. Good morning. Family is everything to us, and that's why we have their pictures on the walls all over our home and work so hard to preserve our family history and memories in a variety of ways that are pretty easy. And maybe there's an idea here that will work for you. This is the year I graduated high school. Growing up, our parents had me and my sister Alicia do one important thing the first family home evening of each new year, the year in review.
I remember sitting down, and it was in the family room, and it was very specific, and we'd go through January and kind of talk about it in case somebody had something in their journal that
try to jog each other's memories.
My chicken started laying.
I had scarlet fever in 1964. Basically, a short list of the year's highlights for each family member. Then after Steve and I got married, his mom asked that each of their children write a monthly family update.
Well, it was a good way to stay in contact with each other.
And mail them from family to family.
And by the time it got back to you, I mean, you pull your letter out, put in
the new one.
And then put in a new one and send it on.
So we knew what everyone was doing, and it was family history for each family.
Helen then compiled the letters, plus pictures, report cards, awards, you name it, into a thick yearly volume called the King Family Chronicles. Each family got a copy for years.
It's all the family histories of all your siblings and us.
Then in 2005, terrible flooding hit St. George, Utah, and homeowners only had seconds to evacuate.
So I saw that on the news, and I thought, what would I take if I only had like 30 seconds or a minute to get out of the house? So I was really compelled to just get it together and make it smaller. So I took all the sections of just our family out of the Chronicles and put it into 3 volumes. And so our whole family pictorial history since we were married is in these 3 volumes. I could run out the door with these.
And now we've simplified the year in review and Chronicles ideas even more for our kids. Daughter Courtney does her yearly lists and photos on the computer.
Well, so each of the siblings have their family, and we each have the different events from the month that we put down for our kids. So we kind of like a timeline.
Then you email them to me, I print them out, and we stick them in the volume.
Yep, it's easy.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah.
And it seemed like when the weather was good, we'd come home and we'd get out in the front.
Perhaps the best thing we did was getting our parents and grandma to talk about their lives on videotape.
And I think it's important that you do this before memories start to fade.
Everyone submitted questions, and we all came together and asked them and videotaped it. And it was really fun to hear just questions, how you met, what did you do growing up, what kinds of things did you like to, participate in. And
everybody was pretty healthy at the time that we shot those, but not long after that, your mom passed away, my grandmother passed away.
And for our kids to now see, some of my kids haven't met our grandparents who've passed on and things, so it will be good for them to have memories of them.
We love the photo books our kids make us, documenting the year for each family, and compiling a family cookbook is a tasty way to preserve family history.
And there are some famous ones in there, the slush punch, that's Nana's, and you know exactly where to go to get it.
She's also a faithful blogger. Blurb.com just compiled all of Alicia's posts into a nice family book.
And this was just a brief overview of what we do in our family. Krista Cowan, professional genealogist from Ancestry.com, joins me now with more on getting everybody in the family involved. We're glad that you're here. And you had an interest in genealogy when you were 12.
Yeah.
You loved it then?
Yeah,
what did you do
really
as a 12-year-old?
Well, my parents had a mild interest, and that kind of got me started. And then I had a great uncle who loved it, and he told me stories, and yeah.
And it's really changed a lot over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah. Back when I started, you used to have to handwrite letters and go to archives and wait for responses. Now, genealogy is entirely different. It's online mostly.
And it's not just pedigree, sheets. You're thinking sometimes these charts, and it's going to be mounds of, like put it off till I'm 65 and can deal with it. But it's like not so overwhelming anymore, and you can do a lot online.
Yeah, and you can do it in bite-sized pieces too, whatever you have time for at the moment.
Okay, well, let's take a look at some of these great ideas that you brought, stuff for everybody in the family. And let's start with the kids. What can you do to make it exciting for the kids?
Okay, well, one of the biggest things you can do for children is just get them knowing who people are, familiar with faces and names. We've created a magnetic family tree. You can slap it on a refrigerator or on a bedroom wall, and then you take pictures of different members of the family, put a little magnet on the back of those. They can figure out where it goes on the tree. Becomes kind of like a little game for them.
And you said even trading cards? That's an interesting idea. Fun.
Yeah, kind of like old baseball cards. You put a picture on the front, maybe, like a hand card if they were a pioneer. And then on the back, you put facts about their lives. And then they can trade with their cousins and their friends at a family reunion or family get-togethers to create entire families.
Or you could even maybe do a memory game with it, like concentration or something. What about the bingo board? That sounds fun.
I love the bingo board. The bingo board is different, right? Just like a bingo card would be, different pictures on different ones. They can play it with buttons. I love that. Like if you've got an old grandma's button jar, or candy. Kids love that. Play it with, with Junior Mints or M&Ms where they cover things up.
Well, that'd be great. Now, the kids, the teenagers are a lot more tech savvy, so you can get into some really fun things with them, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've built a tree on Ancestry.com, which is totally free to do, there's an iPhone app that works on the iPad and the iTouch, and then it also works on the Android. And so those teenagers can have access to that tree at any time just to view things. They can look at pictures, they can look at documents. They really love that.
That's fun. And you said a one sheet. What's that?
Yeah, so I found that teenagers like things in bite-sized pieces. And so we don't want to overwhelm them with the big family history book, but you can give them one page that lists information about their ancestor or a story from their life. Maybe even give them the information and let them do the creative work behind it.
That's great. And you had a great idea for adults too that's different.
Yeah, so we've started doing these videos at Ancestry.com every week. They're just 15 or 20-minute things you can do with your family history. We broadcast those on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they're available archived on YouTube.
Wonderful. Lots of great ideas. Thanks so much for being here, Krista. And if you want more details about all of these ideas, we'll post them on our website at mormontimestv.ksl.com. Teaching gospel doctrine in one language can be a challenge, but what's it like to have to teach it in 3 different languages? Coming up, we take you to a part of the world where members sacrifice much for their love of the gospel.
It's life-altering, and it's not what we had planned for retirement.
And enduring well when life doesn't go as planned. The inspiring story of how a man told he'd never be able to walk again is moving forward step by step. The largest genealogy conference in the nation convened in Salt Lake City earlier this month. Brooke Walker shows us how Roots Tech is helping to define the next generation of family history.
The best way to predict the future is to invent it.
And that's what organizers of the Roots Tech Conference are trying to do for genealogy work.
The goal with this conference is to evolve and advance technology that supports the growing market of family history in genealogy.
100 creators of software, online applications, and mobile apps showed off their newest and greatest. Developers work directly with consumers in unconferencing sessions to brainstorm products needed to help users overcome obstacles in researching, storing, and sharing family history.
We help give people the tools that allow them to tell those stories. The more stories that are told, the more amazing memories that are remembered, the better it is for all of us.
A part of what Roots Tech does is it allows us to take the limited funds that the church invests and multiply them many-fold, so that you can get individuals from commercial companies, individual developers, as well as others, to invest their time and invest their talents in helping to grow this work.
Future Family Search is just focused on helping people, helping the members feel that spirit of Elijah and do something with what they feel.
The more that I learn about my own family and share that with my family members, there's a better connection. We're able to communicate a little bit more, and we want to be closer.
In this life and in the next. For Mormon Times, I'm Brooke Walker.
This April, the 1940 U.S. Census records will be released, and in order to make those records searchable online, Family Search needs volunteers to type that information from the historical documents into computer indexes. So if you're interested in helping with this project, go to the 1940census.com, and thanks to indexing volunteers, 2.5 billion names are now searchable at FamilySearch.org. Coming up next, members who sacrifice much. We travel halfway around the world to talk with missionaries missionaries living in Malaysia and Indonesia. But first, a shout out to all of our missionaries serving throughout the world. This week, we highlight a letter from Elder Jerry Keith Thomas, who's serving in the Florida Orlando mission. He writes simply, "The Lord is truly a God of miracles." We love to hear what our missionaries are writing home, so if you've got a letter and a picture that you'd like to share, email it to us at mormontimestv@ksl.com. All month long, we're taking you on a tour around the world with church members living in faraway places. And today we head to Asia. Elder Kent and Sister Linda Smith are serving as a public affairs missionary couple in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. They join us now where they are 15 hours ahead of us. We're glad that you're here with us. And you have been there for about 7 months now, working hard, traveling a lot. What's it like to be a member there as you've had a chance to experience this yourselves?
Well, it's very interesting to be a member here. The branches are small, the buildings are different, but the members of the church are very strong. As Elder Holland said after he visited here last year, the church is always in its infancy somewhere. And he said that Malaysia is in the 1840s,
wow,
as we think about the church at home.
Now, the members come from all over, right?
Right. We have many members in our branches. We've got people who are of Indian descent, Chinese, Filipino, what else?
In a Sunday school class shortly after we arrived, the teacher asked about how many nationalities were present in the classroom. And of a class of about 30, there were 9 different nationalities that were represented.
Wow, that must be tricky when you're teaching. And this is what you'd call a Muslim country, right? And how is the growth of the church there? Is there proselyting that goes on?
The country of Malaysia is officially a Muslim nation. Islam is the official religion, and one of the stated objectives of the government is to nurture and protect Islam. There is proselyting that goes on among the non-Muslims. It is actually against the law to proselyte Muslims. There are anti-apostasy laws that prohibit a Muslim from joining another church.
So the church is very careful. We don't want to do anything to break the laws. So the missionaries are careful with this.
And Sister Smith, you meet in chapels, or are there different kinds of buildings?
Well, they're called chapels. They are a little bit different. The one we're in right now is called the Petaling Jaya Chapel, and it's actually part of a shop block. A shop block is where they have a lot of buildings, a series of buildings, kind of like what do we call it, a strip mall
right
at home. And then they remodel that section of the building that they rent. And we actually have 4 floors here. We get to walk up.
Lots of stairs.
Because our office is at the top of the 4th floor. And anyway.
You get a lot of exercise. Before we leave, you just want to say, I imagine there are many blessings, though, being a member there as well.
Yes, there are many blessings. The members here, I've met people who have as strong a testimony and a strong desire to serve as any I've ever met in my life. So the members gain great blessings from their membership in the church and have the opportunity to be a light to the world in this area, which is very foreign to what we're used to at home.
Well, best wishes with all your work there. You're getting the name of the church out there and promoting some goodwill among all the people there in that area of the world. So thank you so much for joining us. Glad to have you today. Wards are organized to minister and help, and when a ward truly operates as a ward family, members know that what affects one affects all. The Kaysville 5th Ward embraces that idea and teaches us that sometimes enduring well requires that we endure together.
He led the way. I would always follow.
You know, Jan is one of those people that
is rugged, and you think about being indestructible. I mean, he's a Marine.
Catastrophic quadriplegic. Never move anything.
It'll be 6 years in March when the accident happened. And
we were down on a group trip riding Wyvern Trail down in Moab. I was just enjoying the ride, watching the scenery and stuff, and came to a spot where there was a drop-off on the right side of the road. My front tire, the rim had bent tacoed on me for just no reason. I pivoted and just went head first right in the ground, and I tried to move my arms and legs, and nothing would move. I just told them to just leave me the way I am. I think I've got a broken neck.
It's been a wonderful impact on our ward.
How they've come together and the love and support of them has really helped lighten the burden for us.
well, we're just walking through doing figure eights. And
first it was half a dozen people helping him walk maybe 50 feet. Now it's probably 30, 40 people who come and are involved.
It's amazing to see really how much progress he has made.
But being able to work with Jan and spend time with him, I found out how much I lost by begrudging the amount of service, the rewards you get. Even though it was a sacrifice, I got more out of it than Jan did.
It's hard for you to complain when your friend hits it every day, when your friend, against what seemed to be insurmountable odds, has come this far.
He gives us a glimpse of the eternal plan, that we come to earth, we experience things that will refine us so that we can return to our Heavenly Father.
The gentlemen that come help me, and they're not doing that out of obligation, but they come willingly. And a lot of them sign up and come again and again. It's overwhelming to me that people can give that much.
Oh, I can never pay him back for all the things he's done for me. And there's no doubt in my mind if it had been me having the accident, and it very easily could have been, that he would be right here with me.
He's one of my dearest friends. And every time he makes a step forward, I can feel that.
He is an inspiration to us.
He wouldn't be where he is today if he didn't have the diligence to keep going forward.
It's the Lord's will that I do it a little at a time and learn patience.
He's committed to continue to endure to the end, and I honestly believe he'll walk even without that walker someday.
Jan has received blessings that he will walk again, and he believes it will happen in the Lord's time. Last year, Jan progressed enough to return to the temple. He attends with his wife and his brothers in the priesthood who have walked with him for the past 6 years. Coming up next, inspiring new music by the up-and-coming LDS trio, Mercy River. This week, Shadow Mountain Records will release a new CD by up-and-coming LDS performers Mercy River. The album is full of inspirational tracks as well as some happy, energetic songs. The women behind the music join me today to share a song from their new release. We're glad you're all here, Sony, Brooke, and Whitney. And when did you guys get together? You've been singing for a long time together.
Right. Well, we actually used to sing with Jenny Phillips in her Fireside group. And so we were acquaintances there, and then Jenny had this idea to put this three-girl group together. So she contacted us, and she wrote our first album and sent us on our way.
Took it from there. So
yeah.
This is your third one to be released. What day will it be released?
The 29th.
The 29th. And how do you find time to do all this? You will all have 13 children between you, and balance has got to be a little tricky.
Yeah, we have amazing husbands. We do, and patient kids. We usually drag them with us wherever we go when we can. They just come with us and play along, and so we rehearse with them, and
it works.
Yeah, we just make it work.
We also have great neighbors, great friends, great family. It's
it's taken a village to
to
make
pull it
Mercy
off, and
River.
you've done
Yeah,
it.
to make Mercy River function.
The song you're going to sing for us today is "With Him We Can." Tell us about this song and why it's so meaningful to you.
I think "With Him We Can" is a great synopsis of what this experience has been for us recording this album. It's just an emotional roller coaster. You know, one day you feel like a failure, and the next day you are on top of the world. And I think of everything, we've just really learned that with the Lord's help, we can really do anything. And I think this song speaks that message so well.
Well, keep up the beautiful music making. You do a great job, and we're going to have you sing now Mercy River with Him We Can.
And when we let Him guide us to where we should be, the peace inside us is as warm as spring, and we can feel His love encircling each of us. He knows that everyone falls down. He's reaching His hands to lift up and strengthen us all now. He helps us stand higher than we ever knew how, through things that we can't do alone. So we'll know that with Him we can. And there are moments and days when we all lose our way, but He knows that everyone falls down. He's reaching His hands to lift up and strengthen us all now. He helps us stand higher than we ever knew how, through things that we can't do alone. So we'll know that with Him we can. With Him we can.
Thanks so much for sharing your talents with us. Their new CD, Higher, will be released this week, and we've got a couple of copies of it to give away. Go to facebook.com/MormonTimesTV and enter to win on our contest page. We will randomly select 2 viewers to win. Thanks for joining us today on Mormon Times. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Sabbath day.